what is going on, Senpai Squad? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we've got the review for episode 76 of Boruto. Now, this episode was a big step up from the previous two that we had last week, or whenever it was. Because, for a start, it definitely got a bit more serious. We got to see a bit more of what was going on back at the Leaf, with all the Jonin and Naruto and Tsunade and all that. Didn't get any information really on Mitsuki, but judging by the preview for next week, we're finally going to jump into Mitsuki a bit, because it's only just kind of hit me that this is Mitsuki's arc, and he's been in like 1-2 episodes out of like 5, and it's like, it's your arc and you're hardly in it, mate. Come on, step your game up. But like I said, it looks like we'll finally be getting into the whole Mitsuki stuff next week. But this episode, we see that once all the recaps done, Sarada was, I don't know if this was hinting at it or what, but Sarada was talking about how Garaga, you know, maybe he's a bit similar to Konohamaru's Toad, which that he summoned like way back in like the start of the series. I think like episode like 2 or 3. Like that was a major throwback, so it's kind of cool to link back into that. I don't mind flashbacks and stuff when it kind of links back to that kind of stuff and they're not too long. But she kind of comments on maybe Garaga's a little bit similar to Konohamaru's weird Toad summoning, and I don't know whether or not that's them hinting towards the fact that Garaga is going to be one of their summons later on down the line, whether it be Boruto or Sarada's. I kind of feel like I'm going more down the road of it being Boruto's. I don't know why, just Sasuke's student, it just kind of, you know, you'd think the puzzle would fit together a little bit better with those two, but at the same time Sarada, so I'm not too sure who it will be, if either of them that is, but I think Garaga would be a very interesting summon, especially as if he does become one of their summons, it would kind of link back into this arc later on down the line, which will only be a good thing because it would make this arc a little bit less fillery. I don't know if fillery is a word I'd use, because it's not filler. It definitely is not filler. It's just some parts, mainly the last 2 episodes, weren't the best, so some people do just kind of throw this off as filler. But anyway, we've got the opening. I'm not going to talk really about the opening at all in this episode review. Just know that it was absolutely fantastic. I did live react to this earlier on today. If you did miss it, it'll be at the end of this video, or you can just go on my channel and watch it, because that opening was crazy. Boruto kind of got scared by these like stone snakes, which, to be honest, it did make me laugh. I don't really laugh a great deal at anime, but for some reason it did make me chuckle a little bit. And that was actually kind of foreshadowing one of Garaga's abilities later on in the episode, because we find out that Garaga is a little bit like Medusa in a way. He's got very Medusa-esque abilities, and by that, if you don't know what Medusa is like this snake woman mythological being, something like that. And she can turn people to stone by looking at them directly in the eyes, or just looking at them directly. And Garaga has a ability similar to that. Now, he can't do it just by looking at them, like that would be a bit too overpowered, let's just say that. But he can actually turn people into stone by essentially spitting on them, which is a very interesting ability, and one that I did not see coming whatsoever. So by seeing all these like stone snakes, we kind of think right at the start of the episode that like, oh, it's Ryuchi Cave, snakes inhabit the place, all of this type of thing, so they're just stone statues, simple as that. But once you get to the end of the episode, when Chocho is turned to stone, yes, Chocho, I know a ton of people are loving the fact that Chocho's been turned to stone, because they all think Chocho's gonna die, which, I'm not gonna lie, made me laugh a bit. That whole response from the fandom, it did make me laugh a bit. But once we see Chocho get turned to stone, you know, it does link back to the start of the episode, and it makes you think that, oh, okay, these weren't just any ordinary statues. These were actual snakes that Garaga has just essentially bodied. Anyway, going back towards the beginning of the episode, Garaga does make his appearance around all the stone statues, and they do get into a tiny little fight. Admittedly, it doesn't go well. In fact, Garaga nearly kills Sarada, but she is saved by the one and only Aoda, who is Sasuke's summoning snake. Now, seeing the preview for this episode like last week, whenever it was, I've lost track now, but seeing him, or who seemed to look like him in the preview for this episode, it got me hyped. And to know that it actually was Aoda, and that the way he calls Sarada Lady Sarada, and then he got Lord Sasuke, he's such a polite snake. And I kind of liked all the gag moments between him and Boruto, along with like Sarada, like their like little triangle that they had on. I thought that was great. But anyway, we go back to the Leaf Village now, which was kind of refreshing to see, because it got a bit more into give us a better idea of what's actually going on back there, because I almost forgot that, you know, this is actually a crisis. You know, ninjas are going rogue around here. So we see that Moegi's returned to Naruto and kind of explained how Shikadai and everyone just went off to find Boruto, and Shikamaru is kind of trying to analyze the situation, saying there's something more to this whole Mitsuki situation. And we also find out that Tsunade is somehow apparently keeping Naruto in a job almost, saying, I think Naruto or Shikamaru comments to Tsunade saying like, if it wasn't for you keeping everyone calm, blah blah blah, that, you know, this type of deal would have lost the Hokage his title. And I'm like, what? This would have like lost Naruto, or potentially lost Naruto his job if not for Tsunade. I thought that was quite interesting. Something just a bit small, just gives you a better insight on how like serious and difficult the job of Hokage actually is. Going back to Garaga, something else that makes me feel like he'd be a decent summoning for someone, or the fact that he would be a summoning for someone, is that we kind of see his violent, thrashy personality and his distaste towards humans, saying he'll kill and he'll eat any human he possibly sees. And we learn from Aoda that any snake, usually with a reverse scale, usually has a very violent temperament, i.e. Garaga, who obviously has the reverse scale. But I feel as though it'd be quite cool and just quite fitting if his apparent distaste towards humans is kind of changed once he's beaten by either Boruto or Sarada or someone, and they take the reverse scale. It'd be a bit interesting if they then formed allegiance to whoever it was, Boruto and Sarada, saying, listen, maybe like, thank you for getting rid of that reverse scale, he'll completely change and become a bit more calm, blah blah blah, and maybe he'll say, you know, you can rely on me if need be, something like that. I don't know, maybe they'd even sign a contract. That would be nuts. One of the reasons I feel like he'd be quite a cool fit for Boruto is obviously in the flash forward, see Boruto has that scar up his eye, and obviously Garaga is also missing an eye in that same socket, so bit of like symbolism, is that what you'd call it? I'm not too sure, but I feel like they'd fit each other. We're also introduced to this Jonin, or Chunin, I think it was a Jonin, called Yurito. Now, I don't think we've seen Yurito at all ever before in the series. If so, he did not play a big role whatsoever, but I didn't recognise him, and he is next level suspicious. As soon as I saw him, I thought, there was something about him. I think you guys may agree with me that there was just something about him, a certain aura about him when we first got introduced to him. He was way too happy, I think is the best way I can describe it. He was way too happy about the current situation. Straight away after that, I was thinking, you know, I'll let it slide. Maybe it's just his personality, but I don't trust him 100%. And then, when Sakura leaves the hospital ward and Yurito sneaks in, when no one's looking, he takes one of those needle injection things, which I'm not too sure what they do, but he stole one of them, and then once he leaves, there's like a close-up of his face, and he's obviously a bad guy. Now, whether he's under the influence of genjutsu, which I kind of don't want him to be, purely for the fact that I feel like that whole card trick has been used quite a bit in the series so far. So, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if he's been influenced through genjutsu, but I would like it if maybe this is just his true intentions, or maybe, you know, he's being influenced through something else. Just maybe try and think of something a little bit different than genjutsu. We see some interactions between Hinata and Sakura, which I really loved. Just seeing the mums interact, it was fantastic. But they're saying how, because Hinata's really worried and she's actually apologizing to Sakura, saying, I'm sorry, it's all Boruto's fault that Sarada's gone away and done this. And then Sakura kind of just reassures Hinata, saying, listen, it's not your fault, it's no one's fault. They know what they're doing what they want, and they understand the consequences, which, I mean, is true. Boruto and Sarada like had a full-fledged argument about the consequences and knowing what was going on, and Shikadai obviously as well. So just that little interaction between the mums I was a big fan of that. But towards the end of the episode, they finally get into the main fight with Garaga, and it was like Ino Shikacho style, but Aoda version, because Aoda was involved. Basically, Chocho goes in full expansion jutsu, and I mean, she didn't really do a thing. I'm being 100% honest, she was kind of useless. She was just there to be strangled, essentially, and then turned to stone later on. But what now, I might be mistaken here, I'm not too sure. Maybe I didn't quite catch it, but Shikadai got Garaga with his shadow paralysis jutsu. Now, I may be getting this wrong, but at the start of the episode he tried that and he said, oh no, he's way too big, I can't do it. But then, and I admit I'm probably wrong, I don't think the writers would mess up like this, but then in the end of the episode he's caught in his jutsu? I'm not too sure. Maybe I need to go back and rewatch that, so I won't comment too much on that. But we then see, obviously, that's well, I've done this the wrong way around. That's the Cho, the Shika, and then we got the Ino as he basically blinds Garaga by just putting a load of ink in his one remaining eye, which obviously is a good move. You always know Ino Shikachu is going to be a very tactical playthrough. Is that really what you would call it? Probably not, but very tactical fight. And then Aoda basically comes in and bites down on Garaga, and then Boruto and Sarada unfortunately just miss the reverse scale, and that's when Chocho gets turned to stone. So the fight, I think, it's definitely going on obviously until next episode, and obviously next episode we're also going to jump into more of the Mitsuki stuff, which I can't wait for, because these villainous people, whoever they are, I'm really intrigued by. But that was it for this episode. The episode was a big improvement on the previous two that we had. It wasn't the greatest we've had at all. It was a decent episode. We'll put it that way. I really hope Garaga becomes a summoning for someone. It was great to see Aoda back. We got a bit more information about what's going on with the Leaf, and then this Yuruto guy, which is just what's going on with him. I'm not too sure. Like I said, just don't be Genjutsu. We then also got the ending, which this ending may possibly even rival the opening. The ending was just, it hit Mitsuki's struggle, like symbolizing Mitsuki's struggle. It hit the nail on the head with that. The song was good, the visuals were fantastic, the symbolism and just capturing Mitsuki's struggles, everything about the ending was just fantastic. I absolutely adored it. Boruto is continuing its streaks with fantastic endings. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not ready to become a member of the Senpai Squad. Leave your thoughts and opinions on the episode in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what you guys think. But I'll see you guys in another video. But until then, peace.